This is something that's been staring me in the face for quite a while now, and I think I actually want to review this. It's quite old, and it's actually in fantastic condition. You GI Joe collectors out there automatically know what this is. You know it's hard to find. You know when you find the suit, 9 times out of 10, the suit is destroyed. And in all my research, it's very difficult to come by this particular boxed version. And I'm very lucky to own a boxed version because, like I said, this particular boxed version is very hard to come by. It says equipment for America's movable fighting man by Hasbro. GI Joe action pilot equipment. It says this set includes spacesuit and helmet. See right there? A tether cord. There it is. It says space boots and gloves. See that? Camera. This little space wrist mount camera. Oxygen. That will be this guy right here. And then it says propellant gun. Well, that's that guy right there. You see that? And to give you a date on this thing, it's 1968. I'll show you that right now. It says right there. 1968. Hassenfield Brothers Incorporated. Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It says here, contents made in British Crown Colony of Hong Kong. There you are. Box is printed in the USA. So yeah, let's have a look at the box. It's just a solid white box on the back. Look all the way around. And what do you say we unveil what's inside? Oh wow, look at that. First off, no, GI Joe did not come in this box. This was just an accessory kit for the astronaut, to make your GI Joe into an astronaut. And is this a vintage GI Joe? You betcha. You can see right there. It says made in the USA. Right there. So this is pre-adventurer team, this GI Joe. See, he's still got the nose-picking hands. And yes, his fingers are mint. And when I bought this like this, I bought it like this. So this Joe was in this box. So we have a stress crack there, which is not uncommon. Actually, it's very common on Joes. And it looks like we're starting to form a little stress crack right there on the calf. Not uncommon for Joe at all. I mean, if you look at it, you can see he's got the slightly pink face, which means he was probably being done in a factory that was actually manufacturing a really toddler toy that came in many colors, because there's a little pink to his face. However, this is an early GI Joe, and the history is that he was kind of sculpted by a sculptor who actually sculpted JFK's head. That's why he looks a little like JFK. Interesting tidbit of history there. So yeah, let's set Joe aside right there. Lay down, Joe. All right. I'm going to handle this with care, but I am going to handle it, so let's not be mistaken. Okay, so the foam is still intact here, and he's got a pretty clear visor. Not going to complain about that. It's a little soiled, but again, I'm not going to complain about that. I think with a little bit of care, you can start to get this stress crack right here, you know? I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but I can see it. But again, I'm not handing this to a kid to play with because, you know, these are quite valuable. This particular set is quite valuable. So, yeah. So, this is complete. So, we have our oxygen tank. And by the way, this was actually... these are suction cups, so a kid could, back in the day, could stick it on the window, which I've actually have an idea. And they're still pretty pliable, so that's actually good news for me. Because I'm always thinking of what can I do, what can I do? So there's this chest mount oxygen pack right there. Let's see, and we have a pair of space boots. And again, we are going to handle these with care because this material is not conducive to longevity. It's a kid's toy. Was not meant to last. But here it is in my hand in its original box, looking like some kid barely played with it. So far, we have all of our parts. Here's our wrist mount camera. And still quite pliable. So we want to be careful not to pull that out of its... because we still have to put this on his wrist over that suit as well. So we want to be careful not to break that. It is quite old. Now we have our space mittens, or maybe they look like oven mittens, but whatever. And still quite pliable. No breaks, no peeling, no degradation that I can see, but you may run into a little bit of a problem down there. I see some elastic bands down in there, so we'll have to be very careful with that when we dress this GI Joe. And no, I have never dressed this GI Joe. It's been in the box like this. And here's his stabilizer bar. I believe this actually goes on his propellant gun, which is right here. This is to make him, allow him to do movements through space and just with a little air, you know. So yeah, that's his propellant gun right there. No, this did not come with it. Yes, when I got it, it came with it. But no, this is not part of the original kit. But this is an original manual. 1964, Hasselfeld Brothers right there, GI Joe. And it says Department of Army Training Manual. So this is for the Army, and this is not an action pilot. Basically, what they're actually going to do is they're going to run down here and tell you what you can go out and buy, okay? Letting you know how your GI Joe can move. You can move your GI Joe into positions that a real-life soldier can assume. And I'm going to guess all of these marks in here by the young man who actually owned all of these items, you know? That's my guess. That was his checklist, you know? Quite cool indeed. So, basically, this is a product brochure for a kid. You know, they disguise it as part of the official military GI Joe, but really what it is, so a kid can pester his parents for more stuff. Smart thinking, Hasbro. And here is our spacesuit. Rocket Man. So you have what they call, this is a dual zipper suit. I believe there was another version to this that was actually a triple zipper suit. So, I'm not going to dress this GI Joe live because I'm going to take my time and get this GI Joe finagled into his outfit. There's our American flag on the side there, as you can see. Very cool. So yeah, that was actually quite cool. But I will dress him, and I have an idea to display him so I don't worry about leaving him dressed, you know. So I'm going to guess that actually goes up around like so. I'll figure it out because I have, what, an instruction manual? You bet I do. Right there. Check that out. How cool is that to actually have the original instructions to dress your GI Joe in a spacesuit? I'm going to go ahead and let everybody get a photo of this. I'm going to show you the upper half here. So you can pause it and take a screenshot if you need this instructions. And here's the lower part. There you go, courtesy of Howlin' Wolf. And so what do you say we get this guy dressed? And we'll be right back. Real quickly, guys. Just to get to this point, I spent about 10 minutes. All right? So I want to be very careful with this. And so far, everything seems to be very non-brittle. Seems to be very pliable. But I still want to take my time. I don't want to destroy a survivor. I don't want to be that guy. So, back in a moment. This was another 20 minutes to get his helmet on. And let me tell you why. There's an elastic band that runs around inside this collar. All right, so before you zip him all the way up, there's a couple of fasteners here that you have to put his helmet on. There's a rim inside the helmet, as you can see right there in this illustration. right there is like a ridge. The elastic band is to fit inside this ridge. And on the back here, there are two latches. There's a little wire latch, little hook and loop like a bra strap. And I know all the gents out there know what that is. And then there's a little typical GI Joe snap that has to be snapped into place like that, as you can see. So far, so good. You see Joe, he's all buttoned up for a spacewalk right there. See that? There you are. So let's move on. And yes, they gave you instructions for this for a reason, because you have got to be ginger with this. So even now, even then, they wanted you to use these instructions. So moving right along. All right, Joe is all ready for a spacewalk. He's got his little propellant gun. It's all ready there, you know. Don't know how he's supposed to hold that when he's got oven mitts on, but, you know. It says, shown in illustration number 9 is how your astronaut looks completely dressed. That'll be here. But he's not that. This guy looks like he's ready for action. This guy ain't posing like that. However, for a static display, I think he's going to be fantastic. And it says the back plate of this space oxygen pack has special suction cups that attach to it. To simulate GI Joe Astronaut floating in space, press the suction cups against a flat surface such as walls, windows, ceilings, cabinets, etc. All right, so you can see him floating around there, you know, and there's nothing on the back. That's it. He's got a tether cord that would actually plug into his capsule. Speaking of which, I'll be right back. All right, this is a space capsule that I picked up at a, I don't know, a estate sale last year for $10, and it had a broken glove, broken glass, and no suit. As you can see, it says here. Let's put this right here. It says right here. It says featuring soundtrack recording of the first American orbital space flight, and it says authentic spacesuit. No, it did not have a spacesuit. Yes, it had a broken glass, and no, it didn't have a soundtrack. But the spacesuit they are referring to is the exact spacesuit right there that they sold separately without the lunar lander or the space capsule. So yeah, it says scale to fit GI Joe. Getting back to why I brought this out is GI Joe is to be tethered into this capsule. And yes, the glass is broken. There's nothing I can do about that. Somebody was probably dropping it, kicking it around, but this old plastic is not meant to last. And here again, the outer plastic is much stronger than that clear plastic that they have in there. But you can see right there is a port. See that? I believe, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But I thought that this G.I. Joe was to oh, you know what? I was mistaken. When he sits inside here, you see this? When he sits inside here, this oxygen port here would actually wrap around and port into that. Otherwise, I don't know where he would tether onto this thing. Let me take a quick look around here. No tether. No tethering allowed. Can I tether him? Because in order to pull off something that I'm thinking about, I would need to, see, this is a 1966 model. Okay, so this is not the suit that would have came with this. This is the early suit, the 3-zipper suit. 1, 2, and then one straight up the back. This is a 2-zipper suit right here. One across, this is a 68 model. One across the upper torso and shoulder, and then one up the back. Why they changed it, I don't know. I'm not going to question that. It doesn't have anything to do with where the tether would go, if any place at all. And funny that this manual does not mention the tether afterwards. Tether cord. Tether to what? I don't know. So yeah, let me give this a thought for a couple minutes, and I'll be right back. So hey guys, you know how you buy stuff sometimes, you're like, I know I'll use this for something, and then one day it just hits you. You're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Check this out. Let me turn this camera around. How do I do that? Oh, here we go. Look at this. I bought this glass dome and this wood base from a yard sale for $5 some time ago. I've been sitting on it. I put various things over the time, and nothing quite did it. But we're going to close this door here, and we're going to check some things out here, okay? Hold on one second. Let me put you down right there. I'm going to shut these lights off. See, we have a remote here. You see this? Now we're pretty dark, right? Check this out. Let's walk around here. See, what I did was I installed, and now it's going to fall because I didn't install it very good. There's a little light there and one down here that you can actually change the color on. Red, green, blue. And so you can see, with just a little bit of work, you can get yourself a nice display. And yeah, it seems to me that the suction cups are actually holding up pretty good. And his tether's not hooked to anything. So, you know, hopefully he doesn't float away. But he doesn't have much of a chance anyway, because the big glass in the capsule's all busted. So I guess if I was going to die, I guess I'd want to get out and stretch my legs a little bit too. There's the red, green, and the blue. I actually think I'm leaning towards the blue myself. Let's see here. Red, blue, green. Come on, come into focus there. There you are. And then, of course, your standard white. Very cool. Turn some light on here. And there we are. Shut these lights off. Yeah, I was actually looking for a roll of 3M double-face tape that I had for this light right here. But I couldn't find it. You know, I've been moving a lot of stuff around. So, lately, more so than ever. So, I don't know. Again, there's my damaged module. There's GI Joe. It doesn't look like he has any anguish in his face. At least not yet. You know? So, yeah. Very cool. All right, well, I think I'm going to take a series of photos and leave the video at that and let the photos just run out the video. Hey, guys, you know what? It's been my pleasure. I've been looking forward to doing this. It's been staring at me, and now we've done it. And, yeah. Till the next video, Hollow Wolf out.